It is Friday, the last day of trading, and we ended up taking basically the same long setup that we took for the rest of the week. So this was our 10 a.m. long. Initially, I entered here, pyramided, when I was confident that this second SMT would be our low for at least our 10 a.m. PO3 before we moved to True New York or Premium High or even higher from there. The reason why I exited here was just because new 15-minute opened and we are in X of our 90-minute cycle, so it's likely we can come back into the range. And if we're going to retrace as heavy as we did for our 30-minute PO3, I could have made like a third of what I exited for. So I didn't even care about the extra like 300 or whatever. I was aiming for a winning day for profit, and then it ended up being much more. So we adapted. But let's go on regular trading hours and let's look at the open. See, get rid of all the noise on the indicators. And if it can load right, and of course. All right, so here we go on the 1 minute chart. Like I said, I wasn't going to be trading 30-minute PO3 today. And, or was that yesterday? Yesterday we did trade a good 10 a.m. PO3. Today, if you look at both videos, they're pretty similar. So what I was going to looking in the morning, first presented was open. We had this sloppy 30-minute SMT. I mean, this high right here was just untapped, and I didn't want to take a short off of that because of the fact that ES already hit CE and we have a small gap, and True Day is already mitigated, so there's really no reason to come to the new daily opening gap and True Day open. So off of that, I was looking for longs that allowed me to narrow my stop to like something like this is where I'm looking to take a trade in, and so I just keep up my RR projector just so I can see like what trades are in my favor, what is the RR for each one. So at this low, when I was looking to enter, about right there, when I did enter, I saw 50-point stop. So that's why I lowered to two contracts, two in right there. And then after this SMT got created right here on YM, so this is actually a YM SMT. I've been using YM for the week because YM has given our continuous cracking correlations just on the lower time frame and even the higher time frame. Yesterday we used that, so we have two YM cracks. This YM is also at the low of the day, so right here was very important because YM created this low, and that was the SMT that created our V-shaped recovery. And because of that V-shape, I pyramided because I was in two cons. I wanted to get a winning day, but we had potential 3R trade on the table, which would be like right there, which we're coming up to. Like I said, I just took the profit I had because I pyramided, and ended up lowering my stop to here. So by that time, because we weren't even in drawdown all the way this low, so by that time, it was already a 1 to 4 on my open risk when I trailed stop loss, and we were coming close to edging it. The reason why I trailed it there, if we, like I said, look on the 30-second, where is price balanced to? Technically here. So when this 2 minute opened, I was also looking at 3 minutes in that area. Let's bring this back. I was looking at 3 minutes in this area, and you see we do have a 3 minute right here. I'm not gonna change it from that 2 minutes. So I had that 3 minute. I was looking at where we would close. Once this closed, I was a little worried. I used this inversion as, okay, this is probably the lowest low we're going to go to. And if we close in there, that I would be still safe, valid trade. And like I said, safe stop is at 85.90. So that would be above, below these bodies on the 3 minute. On the 2 minute, if you want to use that, the 2 minute as well, it's very close to the 3 minute. So I trailed my stop right there. Reason for that being, I think it was the 15-second because the 30-second was balanced already. Oh, okay, let's find ourselves. Um, Bro. All right, here we go. So since that 30-second was balanced, I'm looking at the 15. I saw technically we could come all the way down here. That would invalidate our SMT. So what I do was trail to the SMT. Right here, there's not really gaps in price. So by 10 a.m. open, I was looking at this low. So our 10 a.m. candle low, it was above our 1 hour. We narrowed our gaps from the 4 hour. If we look on the regular trading hour or electronic, we narrowed it from the 4 hour to the 1 hour. 4 hours opening. There wasn't really much gaps today, so this 4 hour is what I was looking to trade. Happened to be close to the rebalance of that high, which was 50% of our new daily opening gap. So that's why I use new daily opening gaps. So our 1 hour, I was looking to enter in on this low, but I entered getting in kind of where our closing was. So I did have my stop at close to this low because this is our 10 a.m. open candle, and that low should be set in stone at least before we have some sort of liquidity taken. Because if you notice, the 10 a.m. candle will run in one direction and then the opposite. I'm going to actually sketch this out because this is very important. So when I'm looking at 30-minute opening, let's put on our path. When I'm looking at 30-minute opening, if we're either moving up in our 30-minute, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for some sort of manipulation to move down, and then in PM, I'm looking for 4 hour to move up from that. Because what 4 hours is essentially doing is it's the middle of the day. We're looking to sweep major liquidity on both sides of the market. So no one's holding over trades. Or, in that rare sense when it's one directional, um, 10 a.m. will like fall over and continue 30-minute, but that's very rare. So even like a 30-minute, yesterday we're opening down like we did today, or sorry, like did we do that yesterday? I'm like, dude, I see these markets every time, but sometimes I just forget, even next day, what price action looked like. So, because it's just like, this is the same thing repeating over and over. So we had a 30-minute PO3. Go on the 1 minute, get more technical with this. 30-minute ended right there. We open, create SMT lower, and from that low, I'm not looking for continuations. What I'm looking for is, like I said, that reversal. So the reason why I didn't take this long in 10 a.m. PO3, sweep of initial low, first presented, tap into it. That's just a pattern trade. There is no valid SMT. I'm actually going to get rid of the quadrants just because it's moving a lot. And this sloppy PO3 SMT wasn't in my favor. Plus true microcycle open. We were creating SMTs above those, which is a sign for lower delivery. And so I just wasn't going to take that. I was waiting for more data. 10 a.m. opened. I saw this inversion. This another inversion. 15-second structure completely flipped. Same with 30-second. First presented, gets inverted. And I entered before that inversion because I wanted to have the lowest stop closest to the 10 a.m. low because that is your safest stop. And that allows for retraces to go deep into the range because if you entered on the first presented, guaranteed you'd be at a loss today. But if you entered at 10 a.m. OTE, even a pyramid I think I got like the same fill basically. Yeah. So that pyramid ended up helping out a lot. I could have also pyramid here, but I put enough risk on the table for the trade, so there was no reason to. And if we take a look at our cycles, what I predicted for the day is I I think it was XAMD. I started thinking AMDX just because of how the 5 minute looked. Accumulate. This doesn't look too much like accumulation, that's why I switched to XAMD. But there is definitely manipulation here for the daily cycle. True day open mitigated, and our high, which I didn't think was going to be distribution. The reason why I thought XAMD is because this looks like X. Technically, this looks like accumulation. We can create a protected low here. Like, it can do whatever it wants, create whatever cracks it wants to in accumulation. But this manipulation, I refer to ES as all-time high because we sweeped all-time high on ES, and really, I don't think that right there. So that's why I considered XAMD to be the day because I don't think that we're gonna push to all-time highs or past all-time highs on the end of a week. I'm gonna be completely honest. So because that would give us like almost no wick high. We kind of have a wick high, but like pushing to that would give us no wick high. So I'm expecting PM to drop, and if we're looking closer at our high time frames, this was a perfect place to exit, even though we are going, dude, this thing doesn't load sometimes. This is a perfect place to exit, even though we are, moved a bit higher, because of this 15-minute could have easily dropped here, but this one is definitely retracing before we move up. So in our 90-minute cycle, we have an XAMD. Our daily is XAMD as well. Dropping to the 90, expansion, True New York, set in place, accumulate before open, manipulate open, and manipulation in manipulation, microcycle 90 is really what I refine it to, is where I entered for distribution. So I technically got an early entry for distribution, allowed it to retrace because it still wasn't technically time for distribution. Looking at 1030, that candle right there was our low in the retracement. If we look on like more fine time frame, it's still basically the low, almost a low, off by like 2 minutes, 1 minute. So that's literally how I use price. And the 90 minute, the micro are especially the most important when trading 10 a.m. po3 because you're not really trading the entire 4 hours. That goes from 12, or sorry, it goes from 10 to 2. And like I said, lunch reversal, that's usually what we have. So 10 a.m. opens, we manipulate higher. People think we're going to buy up all-time highs, right? We just go higher and higher. And then 10 a.m. starts distributing down. I'm expecting us to move a lot lower. Distributes down. We're coming in on distribution in the daily, but distribution in the 90 minute was definitely right here. This is our manipulation to distribution in the 90 minute. This is a smaller time frame trade. So I'm not looking to hold this all day. You got to understand there's trades you do hold all day. That's one directional days. Those happen maybe twice a month. 3 times at most is usually what I see. And trades like these, you just want to get your 3R, 4R, if more, that's great. You want to be trailing, you want to be taking partials, like I said in the last video. So that's how I traded the 90 minute and the micro today, aligned with obviously a true microcycle open, 10 a.m. OTE. We had Kraken correlations using different premium arrays to find our premium discount arrays, basically OTE, to find how far we could retrace using 2 minute gaps, 3 minute gaps today because price was very slow. I think on ES we had a 3 minute gap that I was watching that sent us higher. I think I was watching for this one to send us higher, but this is what I was looking for initially to send us higher before I knew we were going to get a big retrace, is this 3 minute for value gap right here that I have marked as the 2. So like I expected, today wasn't a clean delivery. It was Friday and we had such a big move during the week. So actually we ranged, but we had big moves. It's just a large point range. So I didn't expect much for the week close. We already have traded to and from high and low of the week. So there's not much else to do. After that, I am off the charts. So that was the trade recap. I do expect that we could go to True New York. Really, I think all-time highs is also likely and a little bit higher before we do, come into distribution because that's not until 12 technically, and we do have 20 minutes. So let the 1 hour finish up its whatever job it's doing. But just looking at price action in the week, it's very consolidative on the high time frame. This breakout was lucky that we got this today. I mean, because the other indices are just not doing it. YM especially is just trading inside the range of the week. So looking at this, I'm curious to see what we do next week. You definitely got to move higher or move a lot lower to start breaking our market maker models and creating some nice short opportunities, because I've really only been longing. 10 a.m. longs has been great. And so this model will work for shorts. I think we had one short 10 a.m. for this week. That was Tuesday, I believe. So this definitely can be played out for short. But like I said before, what we're looking for the 30 minute would be an open high. And then our 10 a.m. would create a new range. And then OTE would send us lower to that low. We'd use the standard deviation of this range right here to possibly get a lower target, right? And that would be our high time frame trade. So hope you enjoyed the video. Pretty short. I mean, we're just covering the same concepts, just in looking in a different way. This trade, actually, I'm going to go over the risk for this trade. This trade, I saw when I entered, it was like close to like 60, almost 60 points. It was like 53 or 4. So what I did was go into the 15-second, and because we had our new daily opening gap, CE, very close, that's what I trailed it to. New daily opening, sorry, not CE, but our quadrant. So we have our open there. Let's just put on our obvious quarter. So our let's just get rid of that anyway. So obvious right there, that's very low to the 0.75. ES, we know that we hit CE and then created that SMT. So off of this trade, I wanted to lower my stop technically to right here. I want it to be like 33 points, same as yesterday. But the reason why I allowed more of a stop to that is because I want to be exactly at where, or a little bit below where those quadrants are, because price can 100. This wick could have been a little bit longer and I would have been out of the trade. And so I accepted the risks and I'm putting this risk on the table. I entered 2 contracts. When I knew I could lower my risk and enter more, I did. And so shout out to Charmaine Trades. He's amazing at that. Pyramids like 10 cons on a position over the 10 he already has and manages to like quad his profit, quadruple. Any any like 3R trade that he has is triple or quad. Is like insane. So that's something that I want to start to get into slowly but surely. I don't have the sizing to do it now. Definitely don't have the live account that he does, but eventually that will come with time. And so there we go. We get a large reaction. Wow. So that was the day. Target hit. Missed out on a little bit, but that's just holy. Okay. If we're going, this, I also had this standard div measured out. 0.25 is right there in case, if we wanted to hold runners. It looks like we're going about to that range. So anyway, that was the trade. It was crazy. 120 points with our initial exit. It's like 170 points plus our runners. It was like a 200-point trade, 230-point trade. So that is the potential of the 10 a.m. po3. Like I said, you're in the right direction for at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours for that 10 a.m. before we start reversing, which is looking like right, around where we are now. So little lessons for today from Gabe. Hope you didn't lose anything, or if you did, you at least learned something. So I will see you guys in the next video. Maybe Monday, maybe we take Monday off if it's pretty bad. So just waiting for more data. Tuesday will definitely be a trade I'll be watching, or price action I'll be watching, along with Monday anyway, because I'm just going to be on the charts. So with that being said, it is time to get off the charts. I wish you all a great day and weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.